Today we have a talk about Franco-Polish alliances through history. The Franco-Polish relationship dates back centuries. During the France-Habsburg rivalry, which began in the 16th century, France tried to find allies to the east of Austria, hoping to ally with Poland. Polish King Jan III Sobieski also had the intention to ally with France against the Habsburgs, but the greater threat posed by the Ottoman Empire led him to fight alongside Austria in the Battle of Vienna in 1683. In the 18th century, Poland was partitioned by Russia, Prussia, and Austria, but Napoleon Bonaparte recreated the Polish state in the form of the Duchy of Warsaw. With the rise of a united German empire in the 19th century, France and Poland found a new common enemy, setting the stage for a modern alliance. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd also love to read your comments. Let me know where you're watching from.
The Franco-Polish Alliance, France and Poland between the wars, 1919 to 1939. After World War I, Europe was full of fear, uncertainty, and change. Empires had fallen, new countries were born, and old rivalries remained unresolved. Among the new nations was Poland, which had regained its independence in 1918 after more than a century of partition by its neighbors Russia, Prussia, and Austria-Hungary. But independence came with danger. Poland was surrounded by two powerful and hostile states, Germany in the west and the Soviet Union in the east. At the same time, France, still traumatized by the destruction of World War I, was determined to prevent another German attack. To achieve this, France wanted a network of strong allies in Eastern Europe. Among them, Poland was the most important. This partnership between France and Poland, known as the Franco-Polish Alliance, became one of the key elements of Europe's political landscape between the two world wars. It was a complex mix of military, political, economic, and ideological interests, but despite its good intentions, it ultimately failed when World War II began in 1939. 1. The beginning, France's support for Poland. During the Polish-Soviet War, 1919 to 1921, France gave major support to Poland. France sent a military mission, a team of experienced officers, to help organize and train the young Polish army. This French mission played a vital role in helping Poland survive and eventually win the war against Soviet Russia. In early February 1921, French and Polish diplomats met in Paris to formalize their cooperation. They discussed three major pacts, political, military, and economic, that would define their relationship for years to come. The Political Pact, February 19, 1921. The Political Pact was signed on February 19, 1921, by Polish Foreign Minister Eustace Sapieha and French Foreign Minister Aristide Briand. This agreement promised close cooperation in foreign policy. Both sides agreed to support each other in international politics, promote trade and economic ties, consult regularly about new agreements in Central and Eastern Europe. It was a defensive alliance, meaning that if one country was attacked without provocation, the other would offer help. However, the treaty did not clearly explain what kind of help this would be: military action, supplies, or diplomatic pressure. The Secret Military Pact, February 21, 1921. 2 days later, on February 21, 1921, a secret military pact was signed. It made clear who the alliance was meant to defend against: Germany and the Soviet Union. If Poland was attacked, France promised to help by keeping Germany under control and by ensuring supply routes remained open. However, France was not required to send troops or to declare war immediately. Both the political and military agreements were only activated after an economic pact was ratified in August 1923. This third pact was designed to strengthen Poland's economy, which France believed was essential for Poland to remain a strong ally. The Locarno Treaties and the 1925 Warrant Agreement. In October 1925, new international agreements called the Locarno Treaties were signed. These treaties aimed to stabilize Europe and improve relations between Germany and its neighbors. On October 16, 1925, France and Poland signed an additional treaty known as the Franco-Polish Warrant Agreement in Locarno. This document confirmed that all earlier Polish-French agreements would now be part of the system of pacts under the League of Nations, the international organization that was supposed to keep peace after World War I. France's strategic goals. Why the alliance mattered. After the enormous destruction and loss of life during World War I, France was determined never to experience such tragedy again. Its foreign policy was focused on security, and Poland was seen as a key part of that security system. France's main strategic goals were the quest for security and containment of Germany. The biggest goal for France was to prevent German aggression. Even though Germany had lost the war, it was still a large and industrially strong country. France, on the other hand, had a smaller population and fewer industrial resources. To feel safe, France needed strong allies. By allying with Poland, France hoped to force Germany to face two fronts in case of another war, the West, against France, and the East, against Poland. This two-front threat was meant to stop Germany from attacking at all. France also developed the idea of a cordon sanitaire, which means a protective belt. This was a group of friendly nations in Central and Eastern Europe, including Poland, Czechoslovakia, Romania, and Yugoslavia, that would act as a barrier to both Germany and the Soviet Union. Among these countries, Poland was the strongest, and therefore the central piece of the whole system. Balancing against the Soviet Union. Although the alliance was mainly created to stop Germany, it also served another purpose, to limit the influence of Soviet Russia and its communist ideology, known as Bolshevism. Poland's position between Western Europe and the Soviet Union made it a natural buffer zone. A strong and stable Poland could prevent Soviet influence from spreading westward. Both France and Poland feared both Germany and the Soviet Union. They shared the same two enemies, which made their partnership logical and necessary. Economic and imperial interests. Beyond politics and defense, France also had economic reasons to support Poland. French banks and investors put a lot of money into Polish industries, especially in the coal mines and railway systems. France believed that a strong Polish economy would make the Polish army stronger, and a strong Polish army would, in turn, make France more secure. At the same time, France wanted to maintain its status as a great power. By leading alliances in Eastern Europe, France could extend its influence far beyond its borders and act as a kind of protector of the continent. The partnership with Poland was an important symbol of that leadership. Ideological and moral reasons. There were also moral and ideological motivations behind the alliance. Poland, after gaining independence in 1918, became a democratic republic, similar in spirit to France. The French saw Poland as a young nation fighting for freedom and democracy against authoritarian powers. Supporting Poland seemed both morally right and politically wise. Moreover, there was a sense of gratitude. During World War I, around 20,000 Polish volunteers, known as the Blue Army, had fought under French command against Germany. Many French politicians and generals felt that France now owed Poland support in return. The hidden weaknesses of the alliance. Despite all these reasons, the Franco-Polish Alliance was far from perfect. Underneath the surface of cooperation were deep weaknesses that would later lead to its failure. Asymmetrical commitment. For France, Poland was one ally among several in Eastern Europe. For Poland, France was the only major power willing to defend it. This created an imbalance. France could afford to lose the alliance, but Poland could not. When the time came to act in 1939, this imbalance became painfully clear. France's promises of help turned out to be vague and limited, while Poland's dependence on France was absolute. French overconfidence and Polish distrust. The French military strategy between the wars was defensive, centered on the Maginot Line, a massive system of fortifications on the German border. French leaders believed this would be enough to protect them and overestimated the military strength of their allies in the east. Meanwhile, Polish leaders began to distrust France. They feared that France might eventually sign a deal with Germany, sacrificing Poland's safety for its own security. This fear made cooperation less effective, even before war began. See geographic and practical problems. Geography was another major obstacle. France and Poland were far apart, with Germany in between. This meant that if Germany attacked Poland, France could not send troops quickly or directly. Even though France promised to launch a relief offensive in case of a German invasion, it was clear that such an operation would be difficult and slow. When Germany finally invaded Poland in September 1939, France declared war on Germany but did very little militarily to help its ally. This became known as the Phony War, a period of waiting on the Western Front while Poland was destroyed in just a few weeks. Attempts to revive the alliance. In the 1930s, as Hitler's Germany grew stronger and more aggressive, both France and Poland tried to revive their partnership. In 1939, they signed new agreements reaffirming their alliance. However, by that time, the situation had changed dramatically. France was politically divided and militarily cautious. Poland was increasingly isolated, having also signed a non-aggression pact with Germany in 1934, hoping to buy time. When Germany and the Soviet Union signed their own Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact in August 1939, dividing Eastern Europe into spheres of influence, Poland's fate was sealed. When Germany attacked on September 1, 1939, France and Britain declared war 2 days later but did not launch a real offensive. By the end of the month, Poland was conquered by both Germany and the Soviet Union, and the Franco-Polish Alliance collapsed. The legacy of the alliance. Although the Franco-Polish Alliance failed to stop World War II, it played an important role in the politics of interwar Europe. It showed how the search for security, fear of aggression, and mistrust among allies shaped the period between the two wars. France's support helped Poland build a strong army and modern infrastructure in the 1920s. It also gave Poland international recognition as a serious regional power. But when the final test came, political promises and military realities did not match. For France, the fall of Poland in 1939 was a tragic warning, a sign that even the best alliances cannot replace the need for direct action. For Poland, it was a bitter lesson in the dangers of depending too much on distant allies. The Franco-Polish Alliance was born out of the shared fear of German and Soviet power. It was built on ideals of friendship, security, and mutual support. France saw Poland as a key partner in containing Germany, while Poland saw France as its protector and a symbol of Western strength. However, the alliance suffered from unequal expectations, geographical limits, and strategic misunderstandings. France wanted security without war, Poland needed action and guarantees. When war finally came, the alliance could not stand the test. In the end, this story is both inspiring and tragic. It shows how nations, even with the best of intentions, can fail to protect each other when political caution and distance outweigh courage and commitment. The Franco-Polish Alliance remains a powerful example of how alliances can both shape history and fall short of saving it.